The situation with Greece, the latest situation there. We'll have the front page of the papers. Charlotte has the news rundown.
Thanks, Eamon. An independent review gets underway today into allegations that British academics manipulated data on global warming. A senior civil servant will investigate whether scientists at the University of East Anglia were colluding to beef up evidence that humans are responsible for climate change. Tessa Chapman has the details. Jack Straw, the Justice Secretary, has asked Facebook to remove 30 pages on its website which were being used by prisoners to taunt their victims. The Iranian authorities are gearing up for an aggressive crackdown on demonstrators as the country marks the anniversary of its 1979 revolution. There have already been brutal reprisals for the post-election rioting. A judge in Haiti is to decide today whether to release 10 American missionaries accused of kidnapping 33 children and trying to take them out of the country. The phone hotline and website set up for those with suspected swine flu has closed down. The Tottenham Hotspur manager Harry Redknapp and Leicester City's chairman Milan Mandaric will appear in court later on charges of tax evasion. The pair were charged separately last month. And Australian teenagers survived being sucked through a drain pipe and swept down a river. There's been no let-up in the heavy snow falling on the east coast of the United States. The second major blizzard in a week. South Africa's commemorating the 20th anniversary of Nelson Mandela's historic walk to freedom, the defining moment that set the country on the road to democracy. After 27 years in prison, the anti-apartheid activist...
Thank you, Charlotte. We're going to bring you through the front pages of the papers. Let's go to Charlotte with the background.
Well, with the world's economy still feeling the effects of the economic downturn, all is not well in the Eurozone. Greece, Spain and Portugal are all struggling to pay their debts, posing the biggest threat to the single currency since the introduction of the euro. All eyes today, though, are on Greece, with the country's deficit at 12.7%, more than 4 times higher than Eurozone rules allow. Well, the markets remain sceptical that Greece will be able to pay its debts, currently approaching 300 billion euros. But, like the banks, the country can't be allowed to fail. Try to get the economy back on course. So, what are the options? Well, in theory, the euro could be devalued, or Greece could abandon the currency altogether. Realistically, though, its wealthier neighbours, including Germany and France, are likely to bail it out with a joint loan. But the response from France last night did seem to be encouraging. And earlier, the financial analyst David Buick told us that establishing stability is the key for Europe.
James Will with the newspapers after Charlotte with a rundown of what else is happening.
Thanks very much, Eamon. An independent review gets underway today into allegations that British academics manipulated data on global warming. A senior civil servant will investigate whether scientists at the University of East Anglia were colluding to beef up evidence that humans are responsible.
OK, let's open up those newspapers for you today in the company of Mr. James Will.
You know, it really makes you...
Well, there you go. But
why don't we let people actually...
Do you not know anybody important that can pull strings for you?
No.
OK.
And even if...
Right.
In China, we obviously can't... What are you laughing at?
Because this is a ridiculous situation.
A multi-million-pound contract to manufacture
right,
official souvenirs for the London Bee.
Well, maybe probably because they're cheaper.
That's not the...
Let's play double and have them made in Britain.
Well, yes. But should we not...
Mr. Fullard, he's hauled in front of the courts and the jury will have nothing to do with it. They say,
absolutely.
Well done.
And well done to the...
The elderly patient was abandoned for...
Yeah, but I don't want to be personal about it, but I've been... No, there is no dignity for us when we get old. You know, we get old and wrinkly and, you know, we should be... Yeah, OK.
Yes. And,
it's a good day not to go out, by the way.
Well, yes, but there's no excuse for...
And do you know, if Mrs. Whale is watching this time in the morning, I've already given her it. And
your Valentine's present in the garage.
Well, of course, yeah, I don't want to waste money.
Did you get those lovely flowers?
No, no.
Ruth hates those for some reason. I never understand.
Wrap it, even if you take all the labels off.
But that's fine. It's the thought that counts. I bought her one of these and heated up. She's not spoken to me.
No, I'm not surprised, because the thing is, it's about putting the extra thought in, you know, for something personal and special, not just going to the cash register at the garage and thinking, oh, yeah, that'll do.
No, Mr. Cuddly in the garage is very nice. I got one for my son, you know, but anyway.
Have you
Valentine's
had a
Day.
Mr. Cuddly?
I haven't yet.
No,
maybe that's what's waiting for me on Sunday.
Nobody's bought you a Mr. Cuddly.
Merry come Valentine's Day. Thank you very much indeed, James Will. Your views on Valentine's Day with the background here, Charlotte.
Well, with the world's economy still feeling the effects of the economic downturn, all is not well in the Eurozone. Greece, Spain and Portugal are all struggling to pay their debts, posing the biggest threat to the single currency since the euro's introduction. All eyes today, though, are on Greece's woes, with the country's deficit at 12.7%, more than 4 times higher than Eurozone rules allow. The markets remain sceptical that Greece will be able to pay its debts. They're currently approaching 300 billion euros, but like the banks, the country can't be allowed to fail. And massive spending cuts to try to get the economy back on course. So what are the options? Well, in theory, the euro could be devalued, or Greece could abandon the currency altogether. Realistically, though, its wealthier neighbours, including Germany and France, are likely to bail it out with a joint loan. Earlier, the financial analyst David Buick told us that establishing stability is the key for Europe.
Joey Jones, we'll leave it there. Bringing you the front pages of the papers this Thursday morning after Charlotte with a rundown of what else is happening.
Thanks, Eamon. An independent review gets underway today into allegations that British academics manipulated data on global warming. A senior civil servant will investigate whether scientists at the University of East Anglia were colluding to beef up evidence that humans are responsible for climate change. Tessa Chapman reports.
OK, some amazing stories there in the news. OK, in the newspaper review talking about Valentine's Day and lots of reaction from you around the place. Lynn here says, my husband's wonderful. I'm not fussed about Valentine's Day because he treats me like a princess every day. And the rest of you, so many women getting in touch today. You do not want presents from petrol stations. We get the message. Apparently it shows a lack of thought. It shows that it's last minute. And they believe their men have paid far too much for these presents as well. James Whale, more on this after Charlotte with the news rundown.
Thanks, Eamon. An independent review gets underway today into allegations that British academics manipulated data on global warming.
Thank you, Charlotte. Here come the newspapers. Here comes James Whale, and as you can see, Sky Jackie and Sky Charlotte both lined up there with their views on Valentine's Day. You just couldn't stay out of this, could you?
No.
You've
I
things
feel
to say.
very strongly about
things to
it.
say about Valentine's Day. I wonder how strongly you all feel about the sheep called Marcus, James Whale.
Well,
Mr.
listen,
Cuddles
you
in the
came
petrol
and visited
station,
me.
7 years of age.
Will
What do they know?
They always want to kill everything.
Anyway, this poor woman was parents of some of these children should be ashamed of the
You're an animal lover, James. Charlotte, you're an animal lover. What do you think of this?
No, I do agree, actually, that children should know where their food comes from. So I think it's an
Do you think
important
it's a bit brutal,
lesson for them
Charlotte?
to learn. But the children voted for this to happen.
Charlotte,
though.
they're children. They're not allowed to vote in this country till they're 18. Why should you listen to their votes?
But they might have puppies that die, or dogs that die, or cats
Exactly.
that die.
You
it's a
have to get
lesson.
used to it.
Animals die.
You have to get used to
Some
it.
sooner than others.
That's where your food comes from.
Now, look at this, Eamon. You brought Jackie on, so you thought everybody be ganging up on me. Now look where it's got you.
Yes, well, I tell you,
Okay.
James. Right, we talked about this last time, right?
Yeah, very-
Funeral
you should have been
pyres
closer.
is something we could... Yeah.
What's wrong with you? That's what I
I'm
want.
just picturing it, that's
Well,
all.
I'm hoping, I know. And well done to that, OK? I'm rushing
Okay.
through them because
It's really rubbish, isn't it?
Charlotte?
No, I completely disagree. It's a lovely day to, celebrate love and be romantic.
How long
James.
have you been married?
1 year.
1 year.
1 year, right, OK. It's a waste of money, waste of time. If you've got a restaurant, great news, fabulous, except that every time in a restaurant on Valentine's Day, it's a problem because everybody comes in couples. Why don't people go out in a foursome on Valentine's Day?
Well, Charlotte has been to a restaurant on Valentine's night, but not with a man.
Yeah, I did a few years ago. A friend of mine, we were having
Nothing
a
wrong
sort
with
of
that?
single girls anti-Valentine thing. But what, of course, we forgot was that everyone else is going to be there on a Valentine's meal. So we had, the half bottle of champagne. Everything was in a heart shape. So I think
Prices were
people
twice as
got the
much.
wrong idea.
Yeah. Listen, guys, just what is wrong with me buying Mrs. Whale one of those lovely, cuddly toys in the garage,
station.
in the petrol station? I bought it yesterday. You sling it in the microwave, warm it up, and then she was complaining she had cold hands. Marvellous.
It's
People haven't-
naff, that's why.
Yes.
That's what's wrong with it. It's
People-
totally naff.
People haven't been impressed getting
they
in
not?
touch this morning. No, to be honest, Malongu says
Surprised
she
about
thinks
that.
it's a pretty lame gift.
Really?
To be fair, and they don't think much love and thought have gone into it. That's Mrs. P&P on Twitter.
I stood there for 5
Yeah, this is
minutes
what they- this is
before
what
I
they don't
paid my
understand.
bill. How much more do you want?
And